Hey, welcome to Leaving Crazy Town. Today we're going to talk about what, Sarah? All by myself.
I love Finn, and I love that he's so hilarious. So, what I was thinking about tonight, and I did this talk last night for a bunch of families of people who were connected to addiction. And one of the people raised their hand and asked the following question. What do you do about your loneliness? And I thought it was a great question. Finn's laughing, of course. But the reason I think it's a good question is because I think it's something that every human being feels. And yet I think so many people are kind of afraid of it.
I was going to
Like,
say, what do
it's
you
the
do
feeling.
about your loneliness? Survive it?
I know. Well, I think that's the thing, though, because if we look at the channel and addiction, I mean, loneliness is something that addicts, when you first get sober, it's not necessarily a feeling that you would like to experience. And it's probably some people probably drank and drug over feeling loneliness. So, and in codependency, I think loneliness can be something that people avoid by getting into relationships or staying in relationships or whatever, staying in a relationship that's not necessarily healthy because you don't want to be alone or feel loneliness. So, anyways, we're normalizing loneliness tonight. And that's what we're going to say is that having feelings of loneliness are normal. I mean, I live alone.
Quick, get on Bumble.
I Here we go. We have to mention Bumble. I intermittently go on Bumble, not all the time. But I've had to kind of learn to kind of deal with it and tolerate it. And you know what? It doesn't kill you. It's just a feeling. And that's the thing about getting sober and healing from recovery. We talk a lot about just identifying your feelings, feeling your feelings, and expressing your feelings.
I
So,
think that last year, like the reason why, what was it, November, I decided December that I wasn't going to date was because I found myself using that, like
yes,
using other people as an escape from loneliness
yes,
or
yes,
discomfort when I'm alone. Like, I think there's a difference. Like,
there's a difference.
being alone and feeling uncomfortable doesn't necessarily mean you're feeling loneliness. I have a lot of
Right.
connection with people and I can
Yes,
choose to connect. So I
yes,
think to parse out that, right? Like, are you uncomfortable being alone, or are you really somebody who's disconnected from other human beings and doesn't have any
yes,
connection to that or a higher power or anything, right?
yes, absolutely. Yes. And there's distinctions between feeling lonely, like you say, being alone or isolation. I mean, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of differences. I mean, there's solitude. I mean, I love my alone time.
Oh yeah, I
So, I
love my
mean,
alone time, but that's a
yes,
little different than what I was talking about feeling discontented
absolutely.
sometimes. Like if it's like, but it's usually because it's on the heels of me telling myself something about being alone. Like it's
Right,
forever. But
right.
also I do enjoy being alone. And then I also know that when I have any feeling, I want to isolate,
Yes, yes,
which
which
is
is so
probably not the,
crazy.
I try to do the opposite, but I definitely, it, being in recovery, right? They say when you go through stuff, you want to lean into the program. My first response to going through anything is to lean away from anything.
There's some great saying. I don't know if Ralph said it, like alcoholics are the only people that solve their loneliness by isolation or something crazy like that.
That's a
You know
good
what I
one.
mean? So the point is loneliness is just a feeling and an experience and you can survive it. It sometimes I experience it, it's okay. And then there are tools. You don't have to get yourself out of it. You can tolerate it, but then if you really need connection like Finn's saying, there's tons of ways to reach out to people. There's
Or
meeting.
write. I like sometimes I write in my journal or I
Yes.
pray if I have
Yes.
no person to reach out, like if it's in the middle of the
Yes.
night. And,
Yes.
I don't know,
Absolutely. And
like I
sometimes it
feel,
just go ahead.
no, it's okay. You can go.
I was going to say sometimes it just passes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you feel it and have the experience, it passes. And
Yeah,
you don't need to do anything about it.
it's only when I start telling myself something about it that it doesn't pass.
Yes.
Don't make up stories. Just feel the feelings. We're going to say that again and again.
Yes. It's normal to have these feelings. It doesn't have to mean anything. I mean, I think that's why people jump into like apps and stuff. It's like, oh my God, I'm having this lonely feeling. I can't tolerate it, or I should be with someone. And then the next thing you know, you're doing some addictive behavior.
Yeah.
So just look at that, you guys. Look at, have you been lonely? Acknowledge that it's okay to feel lonely. Maybe there's something you need to change. Maybe there's not anything you need to change. But remember, it's just a feeling. You
That's
will
all.
get through it. That's it.
Feelings. Oh.
So, tools. Tolerate your feelings. Take some time. Trust that they will pass. And if you need connection, because that could be it too. You know what's so funny? Sometimes I feel like I want to be with people, but I don't want to be with people.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other thing too.
I don't
It's
have the energy for it
phenomenal.
sometimes. I want to be with
Yeah.
people, but I sometimes I just want to be with people that aren't like being with people. I have a couple of friends like yourself, my friend
Yes.
Erin, that and now, I have a couple other friends that I feel,
Yes.
well, one other friend, I feel the same way that when I'm with
Yes.
them, it doesn't feel like I'm with somebody. Like I'm completely myself. I'm not,
Yes.
drained,
Yes.
but other times I'm
Yes.
like, I don't know. One of the ways that I sometimes combat loneliness is I'll tell someone I'm having feelings of loneliness.
Right.
Just
Right.
tell somebody,
Just tell
and then,
somebody. Right. Right.
yeah.
And they don't need to fix it.
Nope.
Just acknowledging it helps. Just acknowledging any feelings help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Sarah, I'm having a feeling that we should probably bring this video to a close.
okay, let's do that.
We're
I love
out of
you,
here.
Jen. We're out of here. Tolerate your feelings or call someone. You are loved and know that. Okay.
This
Ciao.
too shall
Fasten your
pass.
seatbelt. This too shall
It
pass.
will pass.